So, hi guys, these are my theories and ideas about book 17. This is going to be fairly short, but they're all that I could find. I haven't really had a whole lot of ideas since I really know that if I try to predict something, I can really get it wrong. Like, I was really surprised by what book 16 was, so I'm going to be more careful, but I'm going to give a few of my ideas. So let's start with Kinkajou. I think she is going to change a lot in this book because her old form, like her old personality and stuff, she wouldn't be the best protagonist, but she also wouldn't be the worst. Like, think Sunny, she changed in her book quite dramatically. And Kinkajou's a lot like Sunny. So I do think she will still be bright and cheery still. Yes, absolutely. I do not think that will change. However, I think one thing Kinkajou will have to learn in this book is there are consequences for your actions. Kinkajou definitely has to learn this. I do think she will still be optimistic. I think she will start looking at, if I did this, would it cause some problems? Would it hurt a dragon or my friends? I could see that. Perhaps something she said hurt her friend's feelings, or a decision she made perhaps got someone injured. Given Kinkajou, I do believe these would be the most probable of the causes. And to be fair, her art too, trauma and all that happened could cause her to also learn a bit about this. Also, I would like to see the effects of Kinkajou's spell that Anemone had on her relationship with Turtle. That is really interesting. It would really change how Kinkajou thinks. I hope Tui does not, however, make Kinkajou have a true romantic relationship with Turtle. However, given how Tui thinks and everything, that is highly likely. I just cannot see it after the spell Anemone put on Kinkajou. Think Kinkajou, why yes, romantic obsessor. She always thought of that as, ooh, that's fun, or hey, or that's cool. Heck, she thought Winter had a crush on her. Winter. She's not exactly very smart with that. Now on to Turtle. He should be a important part of this book. Absolutely has to be, as he's very close to Kinkajou. I could see them becoming best friends. However, I could not see becoming romantically involved in this book. I think Anemone did what to Kinkajou was creepy as all get out. I mean, surely some lingering effect of that, for starters. Second off, also, it would be great to see Turtle gain confidence. But that's the other thing. That's the second off issue in this book. We never see him improve in this. This should have happened in Talons of Power, but it didn't, sadly. Yes, it's Sassy Queen time. I do think Glory will play a huge part in this book. We hear something bad happen to her. She was in danger. I have a few ideas as to what that could be. There could be physical, it could be mental. It's a lot of things. I am doubtful Fierce Teeth for a few reasons. She could totally want to kill Glory, but there's problems. We need to understand Fierce Teeth's character to understand what those problems are. She already tried this and failed. B, she has a colony to take care of. She would risk war. C, there's not much overall reason to try. They most certainly cannot win if the Rainwings fight. Unless Glory tried to take back the Nightwings at Fierce Teeth's camp or attack them, which why would she? They're not really that much of a threat. Not enough dragons to change a whole lot. Even if Glory went evil, it wouldn't make sense. Plus, like Fierce Teeth, why I understand her hating and wanting to kill Glory given her character, not necessarily that's a good thing, but given Fierce Teeth, I doubt she would put her colony at risk for it. I think, as a matter of fact, Vulture is the most likely culprit. And there's a lot of reasons as to why. Vulture, he does not care about dragons' lives to begin with, and has access to more than enough skilled assassins, trackers, and whatever he needs to actually do it. He has the means to genuinely pull this off, especially with Glory not constantly being worried about assassins or kidnappers. It just makes sense he would try it. And he has the motivation. Think about this, right? He has a lot more motivation to actually attack. Think Thorm is hunting him down, and he may want a hostage. Think Sunny's is Thorn's daughters, is buddies with Clinging Glory, therefore leverage, and that given Walters. The final option is most interesting, but least likely. I just can't see this really happening. Glory is the threat to herself, like went insane or became drunk with power. I could not see this happening on its own, like in the sense just a sudden transition, but I could see this actually being pretty likely if something happened to her. Like, this does, however, become way more likely if she got kidnapped or assaulted sometime in book 4, sure, didn't go insane from Nightwings, but she was there only for a few days. If she was there for weeks and much more active torturing, we could have seen a very different Glory. It's plausible. But I still think that's not the most likely. So, some geopolitics. Likely tension from the Rainwings, as them being a rising military power is actually a huge deal. Also, the Pantala discovery, and yeah, pretty much everything I've said about geopolitics apply. Also, what the Nightwings did to the Rainwings, and perhaps if they kept their powers that Darkstalker gave them, could cause tension. Other than that, I don't have many ideas for geopolitics in general. And I just can't think of much issues that I haven't listed already, or I would cover in a different video about a specific tribe. Now, let's talk about tone. I think it will be darker book-wise than book 16. I think it'll be more violent. I don't think it'll be as violent as, say, the first arc, however. I think more psychological and worrying is what would make it darker than book 16, although I do also think it might have more violence than book 16. I don't think it'll come close to the classic Wings of Fire, even arc 2, really. That I do think there will be a whole lot of psychological darkness in it. Okay, I do not think the queens will go away. Sorry, doggo lovers, about that theory, but I doubt that would happen. Sure, I get your theory about dragons maturing, but I doubt that would. It would just take time. That's just how things are, and given the state of Pyaria and Pantala, not likely to happen anytime soon, other than the Silkwings, but they were kind of forced into that since they didn't really have a leader, so it makes sense for the Silkwings and Leafwings to do that. So, yeah, I just cannot see that happening in this book. That would take the future, and if I remember correctly, Tui doesn't really want to advance the plot, all that much. She just, doesn't, because that would create a whole lot of confusion if Tui did that. Back to the topic. I think also, I forgot to mention this, but it could be an assassin from one of the queens, because scared of losing their potential power, I could see Morhin or Coral, not really Ruby or Thorn or, Snowfall doing that though, because scared that could have been. And, scared at how powerful the Rainwings are becoming. They don't want to lose their spot as a power, essentially. And they don't want the Rainwings to overtake them. They see them as a threat, essentially, and Glory's causing them to become a potential threat as she's making them strong. Themes of this book, I bet likely freedom is a very important theme. Freedom, in general, has always been an important theme in Wings of Fire. It just always has been. revenge is not a good thing. I could see this actually being a very important thing. I just can. I don't know why. I have a hunch. The importance of justice and how easily it can be confused for revenge makes sense, actually, as far as the theme of this book. We also saw this somewhat in Darkstalker. I could see this being brought back as a theme, though, of this book, and I could see it playing a very, very major role in this book, as well as the importance of understanding what people are going through. This last one, though, is possible but not 100% likely, I bet it's one of the more less likely things, is something Wings of Fire really has sort of done, but it's always been a side thing. I think it could be a main thing or a major thing for this book. That's all I can really think of, though, for now. Like, that's pretty much all I can think of. I haven't been listening a whole lot to what Tui's been saying, so I don't know quite as well as Doggo Lovers as far as future plot, but I am doing my best. Bye, have a great day.